Here before, but never on opposite sides. A personal relationship eclipsed by a century of history. And now the student is home, looking to start his own legacy. Will the student become the master? If so, then it begins tonight. Yeah, you can call it bias, or what history calls it, dominance, supremacy, dynasty. Damn straight. It's volatile and uncertain, intense and unknown, difficult and ultimate. It's about how much it means, why it matters, when it counts, and from where it comes. You know what, man? Enough talk. It's game time.
College football mecca, Atlanta. Frigid tonight. Her streets eerily quiet. But inside the modern marvel of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it's overheated, raucous, and ready for the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. The Georgia Bulldogs, hungry to taste the school's first title in 37 seasons. The Alabama Crimson Tide driven to strengthen a decade-long dynasty with a fifth title in 9 years. Zach Brown and his band, Georgia natives, and big fans of these guys. Bulldogs is the higher seed given the choice, and they're going to wear the home red. A wardrobe change from the SEC Championship game and the Rose Bowl. There's the defensive leader, Roquan Smith.
Roquan Smith, Nick Chubb, both guys, a lot of these players on this Georgia team deciding to come back for their senior year to have an opportunity maybe to make a run like this right here.
Veteran team, couple dozen seniors on this roster. Saban and his teams, no matter how big the game, their entrance is usually business-like, something you see on Sundays. It wasn't that way in the Sugar Bowl.
They played with an edge that they're going to try to duplicate tonight, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Felt disrespected with being questioned whether or not they should be in the playoff or not. Not to mention Clemson beat them last year in the championship. They were really out on mission last week.
Saban used home field in the Superdome to win a championship game over Oklahoma. Overcame one when his Alabama team went and beat LSU, smothered them 2011. Atypical Alabama. It's Georgia that appears more businesslike. About to get real loud, folks. Buckle up. Renzo Carter, who made the big field goal block in double overtime to spring the Dogs past the Sooners. And there's Fromm. How could his pulse possibly be under control in this moment as a freshman? Here come the Tide. Alabama fans travel, and they consider Atlanta their home away from home. But our best estimate, it's about 70-30 Dogs fans in here tonight. An opportunity. It's been driven home by both of these coaches, their players all week. Should be a lot of fun. How different is it to be the boss back at your alma mater, where you're an all-SEC defensive back as opposed to being on the staff of Nick Saban.
In just 2 years.
Cool all week, hasn't he?
Just 2 years.
He feels the energy has returned to his team after spending a lot of it in that double OT in Pasadena. We were impressed by the energy in practice. You see Jake Fromm and the Georgia offense go to work. J.K. Scott, the punter and kickoff man, on his 7th playoff game. Think about that. But booted away. Mecole Hardman is a dangerous return man. One time he thought he was going to go to Bama. Flipped to Georgia. You keep an eye on number 7, Trayvon Diggs, who set the tone in last week's opening kickoff. Big tackle, number 7. Line drive kick, just barely a touchback and not out of bounds. So here comes Jake Fromm, took over his first start at Notre Dame, and look how good he's been in the 2 postseason games, Kirk.
Yeah, incredible right here in this stadium against Auburn in the SEC championship. And you and I were there at the Rose Bowl, made so many good decisions, especially late in that game, to give the Bulldogs a chance to win in double overtime. And now this is his final test of the season. Find out how he responds, because he'll be hit more tonight than probably any game that he's playing. I want to see how he responds to that.
Both of those senior captains in the game, Chubb and Michelle, flanking Fromm. Chubb in the flat, hit, fights through the initial tackle, works hard just to lose 1 yard. Deontay Thompson, the safety, there in a hurry. How crucial will these 3rd down plays be tonight? Dogs need 6. From straight back, pressure up the middle, hit as he throws, a downfield shot, and coming back, wins a battle, but it's picked off as Tony Brown went up and just took it away from the receiver.
Ball is underthrown, but still looked like Wims might make a catch. He's in the slot on the inside. Look at that. Brown goes down. He's beaten. Ball is underthrown. Brown, give him credit. He never gave up on it. The experience, you can see, he finds the football and then he fights for it and rips it away from Wims. The reason Fromm didn't get a lot on that ball, Chris, 3rd down, a lot of pressure. As he threw it, he got hit. So it's easy to say he's young quarterback in this kind of game. Why didn't he lead him? But he got pressure, so the pressure helps lead to an underthrown ball and eventually an interception.
Tony Brown, a senior from Texas, up and down career. It's his first pick of the season.
The best thing you can say about him, he's mobile, has a strong arm, and he's a winner.
On the handoff, Robert Foster ends around, slips a tackle, gets the edge, and the Tides move the chains here. We saw that iPhone wallpaper for a year after losing that heartbreaker to Clemson. Jalen Hurts kept that reminder on his phone. He changed it, though. He changed it up after they beat the Tigers in the revenge game.
After all those weeks, he and the team finally got revenge. Much like Georgia, trying to get the ball to the perimeter, to the outside. That time they were able to outflank the Georgia defense.
Hurts still got it, flips it short. Calvin Ridley, the Tides' best receiver, was open and dances out of bounds near the marker before Malcolm Parrish forced him out.
And also the physicality in the inside from Carter and Roquan Smith, the leader of the defense.
Hurts, a design run. This is what he does best. Muscles into the secondary, and the Tide set up at the Dogs' 31.
It's just a quarterback power play, like an inside zone where you just want to let your quarterback be able to read, eventually find a crease and cut back. He's a man when he pulls the ball down to run.
Dogs defense on its heels, and Brian Dable using some tactical tempo here, a play action, and Hurts pressured and just flips it downfield. Not that far out of bounds. In the neighborhood there was Dominic Sanders, the safety.
Wants to keep him in that pocket. Make Jalen Hurts, when he throws the ball, complete passes from the pocket, not allowing him to get outside.
Primary read is usually Calvin Ridley, number 3.
Yeah.
This is Harris. Bounces of it, cut down. That's a strong tackle by Sanders. His 53rd start as a college football player.
Well, the safeties from Georgia, J.R. Reed, number 20, and in this case, Dominic Sanders, who's played a ton of football, as you said, Chris, they've got to be on early downs up near the line of scrimmage. They've got to beg Jalen Hurts, who's capable of running. You got to beg him to throw the ball to beat you tonight.
Tide's turn to stare down a 3rd and long. They need 8. Dogs showing some pressure up the middle.
Jalen sensing that. Remember, they're as familiar with this defensive scheme as they are their own.
Straight back. Escapes. Makes a cut. And Jalen Hurts again. First down in the red zone.
Him there. They played zone. Linebackers' eyes were on him, but they're unable to bring him down before the first down.
Yeah, got 10 on 3rd and 8. Harris and Jacobs now flanking Hurts. And this is a handoff to Josh Jacobs, the Tulsa, Oklahoma back who overcame some early season injuries. Roquan Smith, it was 3 on 3 there, and the linebacker got him. Pick the center, Brad Bozeman is pumped up 3 times. He's given Hurts a high snap already.
Ridley alone up top. Real difference maker in the passing game for Alabama.
Parrish is on him. Hurts looking that way. Kirk throws it for the end zone, but over the head of Ridley. And Parrish had fallen down. That's on Hurts.
He had it. He had him, and they're going to go back to that. Ridley's one of the top receivers in the entire country, and they have him matched up on exactly who they want, and Parrish, 14. He falls. He's undersized, by the way, at 5'10", and Nick knows that they missed on an opportunity there. Even if he doesn't fall, Ridley's going by Parrish for a chance to have a touchdown.
3rd and 8 again.
Do they spy him here after the scramble?
Well, they're going to put him on the move. Hurts retreats, chased, flips it, incomplete. A changeup, and that was the speedy, and I mean speedy, linebacker Lorenzo Carter giving chase.
That is his job, to get to the outside. Has such great length. 6'6", 245 pounds. And has tremendous speed to be able to chase down Jalen Hurts and force him to just throw that ball away.
Carter at 6'6", the man who got the long arm up there to block the field goal in double OT. Andy Papanassas, grew up an Alabama fan. Played at Ole Miss and now back here for his senior season. Very reliable from short distance. This from 35. Is a false start, a flag before the snap, which again was high. And Scott, who kicks off, punts, and holds, did a good job to get it down. He'll have to try again from 40.
False start. Offense. Number 82. A penalty. It remains 4th down.
Herb Smith, the tight end. Noise a serious factor in this Alabama offense at the moment.
And also, you can see 18 at the top of the screen there. He just kind of gave a little bit of a move, Baker. And that affected Smith with that crowd noise. He thought Baker was coming and just moved a little bit.
He had a redo in the Sugar Bowl after a flag, and Epanastos missed that field goal against Clemson. But he rarely misses from this range. The timing was off, and that was ugly from the start. I know what you're saying, announcer's curse, but that just was not well executed at all. Either of those attempts, the false start and then the snap.
He did not look comfortable. He was out of rhythm from the start. I don't know if it's just the jitters, the hype of this big of a game, and Kirby Smart and the Georgia defense catch a break and get a little bit of momentum here early in this game.
Tide moving 42 yards, but come up empty. Nick Chubb, here's the tailback. Fromm fakes it to him, fires a slant. Godwin has got it, and he's got a first down across the 35. Fromm throws that route really well.
Now they're trying to spread this Alabama defense out. Watch the linebackers coming up, anticipating Nick Chubb in the running game. Tendencies say it's a Georgia running game, and Georgia knows that. Trying to break some tendencies here early in the game. Good throw in rhythm, and gave his receiver a chance to make a play.
Godwin gained 14 yards. 4 plays, 4 passes called by Jim Chaney so far. DeAndre Swift is in the game, and he's out of the backfield, but looking downfield, and again, that's dropped by Javon Wims for the 2nd time, so the top receiver is struggling a bit.
Even the drop there, the ball is thrown right on the money, and they're throwing on their terms on 1st and 10 instead of waiting till 3rd down.
Pressured immediately, and that blew up the play. Storming in there was Deron Payne. Fromm couldn't get it to Michel.
This was Georgia's biggest concern, is the middle of the Georgia offensive line against Payne, who's right here. Watch his movement and quickness. The center, Gilliard, trying to get out there. But I'll tell you, Payne at 6'2", 308 pounds is quick. And it gives inside linemen, guards, and centers a lot to deal with, not just with his power, but with how quick he can shoot through a gap.
Gave the highlight of the Sugar Bowl. He had a pick, and then had a touchdown reception right after it. 3rd and 15. Tide rush 4. Fromm has time. Nice throw downfield, and the traffic ball tipped in the air and incomplete again. He was looking for Wims, and Deontay Thompson got a hand. Becomes the punt team.
And Thompson had stepped in very nicely for Hootie Jones and done a good job. He's got tremendous length at 6'2", 195 pounds, and he sits back there as a safety on the hash. Makes it pretty easy for him. This is what Bama does on 3rd and long. They've played man coverage with 2 safeties back on the hashes, making it incredibly tough to try to throw the ball downfield. Fromm tried to squeeze it in, but good coverage that time by Thompson. Jalen Hurts' legs always an issue here at this situation at 3rd and 3.
Empty backfield. Hurts is keeping a straightforward call, but it goes backwards as the dogs swarm. Jonathan Ledbetter off the edge. It's 4th down.
Well, Ledbetter came from the outside, but we showed you Tyler Clark with our graphic early. Watch him also be able to get through, and Ledbetter chases it from behind. But they win the battle at the line of scrimmage. There's Clark kind of blow the play up. Is Pierce Baker, the left guard, comes around, 71 comes around, and boom, he runs right in to Clark right there, and it allows the quickness of Ledbetter to come in from behind to bring Jalen Hurts down. Scouting report says quarterback run, Georgia ready for it.
Unbalanced line here. Chubb is the back. They pitch it to him running to the boundary. Makes a cut, but boy, the Tide close it down quickly. That's Terrell Lewis, who's got big shoes to fill. He's in for the injured Jennings tonight.
Well, he does a good job right here of coming down and then getting to the outside. They're running right to Minkah Fitzpatrick. They know he's a great defender against the pass, but they try to go against him defending the run. He contains it, forces Chubb back inside, and there's the big man, Terrell Lewis, cleaning it up. Nice play.
Dogs 0 for 2 on 3rd down. Need 5 this time.
Watch how Alabama gives this offensive line a lot of looks. They disguise their pressure with their linebackers and Minkah Fitzpatrick.
It's a run on 3rd and 5, and Sony Michel gets the 1st down before Mac Wilson could wrestle him down. Good call.
Sony Michel says, hey, what about me? I got a little thunder to me. I'm not just lightning. He lowers his shoulder here. Left tackle win, helps on the double team, and he runs right through Mac Wilson with that extra effort right there to get across the 1st down marker. Great effort by Michel.
Yeah, but the linebackers banged up all year long.
Yep.
3rd and 3. It's Michel. And now a whistle and a flag down. This Big Ten crew led by Dan Capron conferring. Michel says it's on Bama.
The defensive player jumped into the neutral zone, causing the offensive player to react. By rule, that's defense offside, a 5-yard penalty, and it results in a 1st down.
Tony Brown jumps at Terry Godwin right there, makes him flinch.
Dave Kataya, our rules expert in the booth, that's an emphasis. That happens a whole lot in a loud building, doesn't it, Dave?
Absolutely, and when the defense enters the neutral zone and there's immediate reaction, it's on the defense. If they don't enter in the neutral zone, it goes on the offense.
Okay. He's got man coverage. Sliding the protection to the right.
From the pocket, delivers a high throw. It's caught. Finally, that's Javon Wims after a couple of drops. Makes the catch. Or check it, that's Riley Ridley.
Bama's right side does a good job of coming in and getting pressure. Fromm just kind of slings this ball and gets the ball out quickly.
They're playing quickly. A downfield throw. It's one of those back shoulder fades that Fromm likes so much. Wims couldn't come up with it. It was just the 9th catch for Calvin Ridley's little brother this season.
Remember, in college football, if you don't change offensively your personnel, you decide to go fast, the defense, they can't change their personnel. And they can try, and they can get maybe called for a penalty with too many men on the field. Georgia's going to try to do that all night because Alabama constantly likes to change their personnel.
Well, the Dogs sub, so the Tide had some time to get fresh bodies. And Fromm is chased and sacked by Anthony Averett off the corner. Not often confused, Kirkby was that time.
This one surprised them. It's a little bit of a different look. You're used to seeing Fitzpatrick here coming, and you wonder if one of the tight ends might have needed to kind of recognize that and get back and help him on his backside. Somebody messed up, really unexpecting the blitz from Everett, and they create another long third down situation for Georgia.
It was a promising drive. Now they're back in their own end, facing 3rd and 20. Got to hurry. Just get it off. And it's a 3rd and long run. Can Michel create some magic? He gets the edge and tight ropes into Alabama territory. Sony Michel, Rose Bowl hero, makes the first big offensive play tonight.
We just talked about what he can do and how quickly he can get to the outside. Watch the block he picks up right there. Just enough of a block to be able to affect Levi Wallace. It was by Riley Ridley, picks up just enough of Wallace to give him the room to get to the corner and eventually pick up that first down.
The ruling on the field is that the runner stepped out of bounds at the 26-yard line. That ruling is under further review.
So Tom Kissinger, the replay official of his Big Ten career, will take a look. Michel's superb run stands. Number one was like a Formula One car. He accelerated, slammed on the brakes, cornered, and then accelerated again. And they convert.
Really impressive. Got to mention a great block there by Ridley. Ronnie Harrison took a really poor angle on a 3rd and 20 play.
Michel has twice, Kirk, converted third downs with runs. 3rd and medium and 3rd and very long. DeAndre Swift, and the freshman, is now the tailback. Excellent receiver. They fake it to him. Swift in the middle. Fromm was looking that way and now tries to escape. And he'll be tracked down. Christian Miller, the linebacker, got him a few yards behind the line.
Do if he wasn't ready for the quick throw to Nauta, no one else open.
They don't use the tight ends too often, and Charlie Werner, who made an impact early in the Rose Bowl, out of this game with a lower leg injury, so it's got to be Nauta. Michel, that time, stuffed right at the line. Swift, excuse me.
That time, that defensive line again, it is a mismatch up front, especially in the interior with Payne and Isaiah Buggs, and Raekwon Davis sets up another third down.
Scoreless first quarter, 64 yards for the Dogs, 53 yards for the Crimson Tide. Expected defense tonight, we're getting it so far. End of one in Atlanta. Back after these messages. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T on ESPN.
We saw Georgia run the ball in that 3rd and 20. They get 3 receivers down here at the bottom along with a tight end.
And it's Michel to Fromm's right. They pick up the pressure. Another third down run. Didn't want to risk perhaps taking a sack and moving the field goal attempt back. Michel tackled at the 24 by Terrell Lewis.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I mean, you take a risk with as much as Alabama pressures on third down. You drop the quarterback back there, you potentially get out of field goal range. This way you run the ball, it's a safe call, and you try to get the first 3 points of the game.
Here's my guy, Kirk. Rodrigo Hot Rod Blankenship, the sophomore from Marietta, booted a career-long 55-yarder in the Rose Bowl. Key play after a squib kick just before half. This from 41. And Blankenship does what Papanastas could not. Puts Georgia on top. Man given a scholarship before he kicked the game winner at Notre Dame. Puts Georgia in front by 3.
Damian Harris flanked off to the right of Hurts.
He comes in motion. Hurts running all the way. Sidesteps a couple of tacklers. Works hard to get a couple yards before DeAndre Walker brought him down.
They're doing a good job of really, as we said at the beginning of the telecast, loading up against quarterback run. The +1 quarterback run game is a big factor when you face Hurts. Georgia knows that. They're up against him and Harris from running, willing to leave their corners on islands.
Last two rushes, no gain for Hurts. 3rd and 6 from the pocket. Hit as he throws, and it's underthrown, but Ridley is not going to be able to come up and get it. Hurts picks himself up off the rug. The pressure caused that incompletion by Ledbetter.
Well, Ledbetter's been seen a couple times, just a punch here to get around Jonah Williams. The left side of the offensive line. He beats the Bama's best offensive lineman, and Calvin Ridley beat Malcolm Parrish again, and that's why he was so frustrated. He wants the ball in his hands. He wants to make a play. Negates 14 yards of field position.
Huddled quickly, flipped in the flat. Swift makes a cut. And the talented back from Philly, the freshman, a big gain out across the 35. He beat Mac Wilson on that play.
Boy, he is dangerous, and Georgia's theme continues. Get the ball on the perimeter. Get the ball to their playmakers outside, whether it's Michelle, Swift, the true freshman. Get them in space and let them make some of the Bama defenders miss. That's so far in this first half where Georgia's having their success.
Swift, a very natural receiver, like all the Georgia backs, his 16th catch this season. And now it's the wild dog, Chubb, with a direct snap. It's worked for a touchdown against Oklahoma, and it's a productive first down play of about 5.
Jim Chaney is right now doing a very good job understanding that he's outmanned up front, especially in the middle of his offensive line against his Bama defense, giving a lot of different looks, getting the ball out of Fromm's hands quickly, getting the ball to the perimeter. Then you can go back to your bread and butter, running the football, but not living inside a phone booth against his Bama defense.
On 2nd and 5, Eason pulls it, makes a little cut, shows some elusiveness, and the quarterback has a first down at the 45. What did Chaney tell us, Kirk? I want to call plays against Bama that work against our defense when we go ones versus ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Really hurt the momentum that they had created on this drive. Let's see if Fromm can bail them out on 3rd and long.
Top receiver Chris Wims, number 6 to the left, hasn't caught a pass yet. Fromm took a look downfield, now checks it down, it's complete, and it's Riley Ridley. Little brother making a big impact before Calvin does. Dogs are set up.
Well, nice job of protecting the quarterback, and look at the middle, look at this nice passing lane open up the middle of the defense. Mac Wilson and Minkah Fitzpatrick, who is down as a defensive back playing that dime linebacker. They're reading the quarterback's eyes, playing zone. He did a good job of looking him off, opening up the middle for Ridley.
They fake the end around, and now Fromm flips it, lofted in the air. It's Mecole Hardman, the receiver. You know, Calvin Ridley said something interesting. No communication with his little brother during the game of the week. That shows you how business-like the Tide receiver is. Riley's given name is Calvin. It's too close to Calvin, right? Wanted to be his own man, so that's why he's changed it to Riley. You got 2 younger brothers too.
You got the brothers, and then you have so many connections with the coaching staffs, knowing the players. I mean, it really is an interesting matchup between these two teams. You see quarterbacks looking over to the cards to get not just the play call, but a lot of times the audible or the adjustment. Once the coaches see the defensive alignment, quarterbacks a lot of times are looking over. Not with Jake Fromm. His prep work allows him to make checks, get out of a bad run play into a good run play. Not just run to pass, run to run. Comes the blitz late.
Dogs need 6. They're in field goal range. From downfield, there is Wims going up and making his first catch. He beat Averett. That is his favorite route, quarterback and receiver.
And the back shoulder fade over the years. We've seen this hurt Alabama. Everett never able to see the football. Let's take a close look at this with Wims. Comes down with his hand and his right foot in bounds. Great call by the officials. Hand counts, but he also had the foot down. And a nice back shoulder fade by Fromm, and a good adjustment by Wims.
3rd down completions on this drive, Kirk. Ridley for 23 and a 3rd and 8. Bad Wims on that 3rd and 6. A little tougher down here, though, isn't it?
Empty set. Now they're going to move Swift back there, or actually Michelle back in there.
Fromm flushed, backpedals, and delivers a dangerous throw over the middle. He was knocked down. Michelle frustrated. That was behind him, but read at the pressure by Payne and company.
Lewis is coming in. He's throwing it off his back foot. And the reason Michel's frustrated is he knew that he was able to slip out of the backfield unnoticed. And if Fromm had just a little bit more time, he's able to get that ball to Sonny Michel, and Michel walks into the end zone for a touchdown. Give Terrell Lewis credit for getting in there and forcing Fromm to get rid of that ball.
Blankenship again from 27. Georgia had that 1st and goal. 3 plays, netted nothing. And Blankenship remains perfect on the season inside of 40 yards. Another look, Kirk.
Let's go back and look at Terrell Lewis, who's missed most of this year but is now healthy. He's inside, he pushes to get the pressure. Michel's here, he sneaks out. Nobody sees him. He's able to get out of there clean. Watch the pressure to the inside. Fromm's going to start backpedaling. Just can't get enough on the ball. If he's able to lead Sonny Michel, there's no question he's able to get into the end zone. Nobody picks him up, but there's the pressure by Lewis. And by the way, Tony Brown almost with that ball thrown behind him, able to come up with an interception. But a big stop by Bama to force the field goal. See if now Bama decides to maybe open it up a little and try to get Jalen Hurts running and throwing.
They haven't gotten Harris or Scarborough going. This is a run, and Hurts makes a cut. Jalen Hurts in the clear, in the Dogs' territory. When you're struggling, just kind of keep it simple.
A good job of getting off of blocks, especially when Bama tries to run wide.
Hurts, take a look in the backfield. Wanted to throw downfield. Hit and sack from the blind side by Devin Bellamy.
It's the second time Jonah Williams gives up a sack. Bellamy right here, he'll actually get cut, but he doesn't give up on the play, and Jalen Hurts is holding on to the football too long. Nice job downfield. The coverage was there. Jalen Hurts has got to get out of there or find a check down. Instead, he holds on to the ball, and the speed of Georgia eventually collapses on him.
3rd and 15. Jacobs got away from the initial tackle by Roquan Smith, and now they're scuffling.
Yeah, be careful on 3rd down. A couple of players going at each other. Looked like the freshman Devontae Smith was involved in that from Alabama. Looked like with the veteran Dominic Sanders.
It's about 160-pound true freshman receiver involved in a scrap.
Devontae Smith trying to make his presence felt. He came in and lowered the boom on Sanders.
Here goes Wims, the top receiver on this team. Looked like he was holding that left shoulder. Must have injured it making that catch that set up the field goal. That's a serious concern for the Dogs' passing game.
Against the corner, one-on-one. I think Ridley's got to become that guy now.
And we'll see who Fromm is looking for on this 3rd and 7. Tied rush 4. Fromm has time and delivers a strike across the middle. And it is Riley Ridley stepping up. How about the poise of the freshman on that throw?
How about the call by Jim Chaney? The willingness to make this call. This tells you everything about the relationship between Chaney and Fromm against that defense. Sit in that pocket, and instead of making an easy read to the outside, no way. He's going to throw it right into the middle to his receiver Ridley, and again it opens up in the middle with the linebackers and nickelback kind of widening out, gives him an easy throwing lane on the crossing route at about 15 yards.
Brings some pressure. Dogs pick it up, and it's a low throw. It was behind Hardman. Rush didn't really affect that one too much. Just a bad throw.
Yeah, just out of rhythm a little bit. Throwing to a receiver that, while he has tremendous ability, I think Wims is his guy typically in those situations. Ridley has become that guy, and good job up front protecting him, but unable to execute. And Bama, by the way, even though their offense hasn't done a lot, they're down 6-0, and they're looking to try to get points here before this half's over. Bama going to go fast, trying to catch Georgia off guard. They're trying to get lined up.
Lead 4. Hurts trying to create something, buying time, runs to the sideline as it just throws it into the bench. So the Dogs flushed him out. Trent Thompson with the pressure. It's 4th down. Maria.
Well, Chris, I saw Javon Wims come back onto the field. I'm told it's a left shoulder, and he will return to the game, which is great news for Jake Fromm. They spent the entire offseason working with one another, building that rhythm that we've seen throughout these playoff games.
Wow, Maria, that is great news. The way he looked going into the locker room, you wondered if he would have a chance to come back. And as you said, all over it, Maria, these two have great chemistry. When in doubt, the young freshman likes to look to number 6, so hopefully he's able to come back and be a factor.
Interesting story. Wims played Pee Wee football, that didn't play again until his senior year of high school. Basketball was his first sport.
Now, Chaney's been aggressive in this first half with his quarterback. Minute 19 and 3 timeouts. Let's see what he does.
Fromm making the adjustments. Play clock at 5. Side rush 4. Fromm gets it out. He's thrown behind Ridley, who comes back and makes a nice hand catch. It's a first down.
I think the ball got deflected by Terrell Lewis at the line of scrimmage. Back, and instead he sat underneath the throw.
On 3rd and 10, it's another run, and Michelle's free. Sony Michel has been the answer on 3rd and long against this Bama defense.
And they go behind the left tackle on 3rd down and long. Isaiah Wynn. Boy, Sony Michel has such acceleration, and when you're thinking pass, all he needs is a little crease.
Fromm, another one of those long throws right off the yard marker. 39 seconds. Dogs still have all 3 timeouts.
Just doing Jim Chaney catching Bama, Jeremy Pruitt, Nick Saban off guard with these 3rd and longs, ball into the hands on the run game to Sony Michel.
Illegal substitution. The defense had more than 11 players on the field at this. That's a 5-yard penalty, and it remains first down.
Yeah, Raekwon Davis was running onto the field late. Isaiah Buggs was coming off. There was some confusion. You can see Davis is right there. If you start to add up all these players, one of the players he's just walking off down here. He was on the field when the ball was snapped.
Moves the ball to the 40. They pitch it to Swift. Makes a cut. And the freshman from Philly, another first down. Dogs trying to add to this lead. Still have those timeouts, now 35 seconds.
That's the Georgia bread and butter, the pin and pull. They pin on the seal, the edge, pull the left tackle, Isaiah Wynn out, who made a nice block there on the corner, Everett, and it gives Swift a nice crease to get down the sideline.
Fromm steps up, escapes, a lot of room. And Fromm, no slide. He's going to take a shot. First down in the red zone. 28 seconds left.
Well, unlike Jalen Hurts, you're not always thinking about Jake Fromm pulling it down, but you see man-to-man, defensive backs have their back to the quarterback in that man coverage. Fromm recognizes it right away. And instead of trying to force the ball, he felt the pressure from his right and takes off and gets big yards. Ridley is up to the top of your screen. Wims is still not in the game, his favorite target. Don't forget the tight end, Nauta, is also off to the left.
Gotta hurry. Play action. Fromm fires down inside the 5. Slipping away and reaching for the end zone is Godwin. Stop him just short. And another fearless throw from the freshman. Dominance. More than 2-to-1 edge in yards in the first half.
This same Bama defense that was aggressive a week ago against Clemson, right now, hands on their hips, looking around, on their heels.
The freshman Swift in the game. Dogs still with the 1 timeout left. Fromm fires over the head of his top receiver. Wims was guarded by Averett. And a flag comes in. Did they rough him after the throw?
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense, number 14. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
It wasn't necessarily the hit, it was the timing of the hit. Thompson, instead of letting up, he just kind of runs into him, and Fromm goes down. It wasn't how physical, and Nick Saban's frustrated because it's a mental error by Thompson.
Guy who made his first start against Clemson, and that mental mistake sets up the Dogs. The ball just outside the 1. First down.
I'd be surprised to see Michel maybe in the wild dog.
Yep, Fromm motions out. It's Mecole Hardman instead. The receiver comes in. They hand it. Nope, they keep it. And sprinting to the edge. The Dogs barking in the first half.
When you play against your former coach, it's all about a couple wrinkles here or there. We all anticipated Michel. Instead, it's Hardman, who's a high school quarterback, gets the direct snap.
7 seconds in the first half, dominated by Georgia. Blankenship makes it 13-0. Little goal line wrinkle, and it works.
Yeah, you're going to move Fromm out, and everybody's expecting Michel to get the ball. But what's great about this is you get the tight end Nauta leading around after the fake to Michel. And again, a high school quarterback, Hardman knows what to do with the ball. Nauta seals it, and then it's a foot race. And nobody's going to catch Hardman to the corner. And the Dogs are on fire here, up 13 in the first half.
Bowman, a very versatile player. He's the returner we've talked about. Run the ball, second rushing touchdown. He was the guy that thought he was going to Bama. Kirby Smart and the staff came over. They flip him to Georgia, and he has hurt the Crimson Tide tonight.
And if you haven't seen Georgia play a lot this year, this first half, in my opinion, is kind of a microcosm of the year that Georgia's had offensively with Jake Fromm and the way this offense is played. Now, there's still a long way to go. You and I've called games where it looks like a game is going one way and a half. You come back into the second half, and the game flips completely. So both these coaches known for their adjustments. So a lot of football to be played. I just have to keep stepping back and reminding myself and everybody that Jake Fromm is a true freshman. It's not that he's just executing. It's the way he walked into the stadium tonight. It's the way he's played last week in the Rose Bowl when the game was on the line. The composure and the confidence that he plays with is just extraordinary. And it's not just the way he's wired, Chris. I think it's his preparation that he puts in, where it gives him the answers to anything a defense potentially can give him. Very rare to see from a true freshman.
Comes off a Rose Bowl when he set his season high in completions. Fromm and the Dogs. It's their turn to roll in the first half. 13-0. And they close it out in their first national championship in 37 years. Rick and Saban and the Tide come back.
Saban makes you wonder if you may see the true freshman backup quarterback behind Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, maybe get an opportunity in the second half, known as a great passer.
Yeah, Hurts 3 of 8, but Harris and Jacobs, the running backs combined, have 20 yards in the first half. It's all Georgia. Stay tuned for the Mercedes-Benz halftime report, halftime performance by Kendrick Lamar, right after these messages. Mecca, Atlanta, two neighboring states, hungry, battling for that beautiful trophy. About to get real loud, folks. Michel gets the edge and throws into Alabama territory.
The margin of error throughout this game is so slight.
Hurts hit and sack. They keep it and sprinting to the edge. The Dogs barking in the first half. The underdog Bulldogs have the lead. Welcome back to the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. And if Georgia can hold this lead, look out, folks. Atlanta's going to come unraveled. Jake Fromm, you talked about him a lot, Kirk, in high school a year ago. Efficient, made the early mistake, the interception. He's been knocked around a bit, but boy, he has been clutch.
Well, he has. I think it's, again, combination of a lot of things in that first half. Jim Chaney trusting him. An aggressive play calling, getting the ball out on the perimeter. But look on the other side of the ball. Look what Georgia's done defensively against Alabama and against their running game. They've completely taken their running game out, put the game on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts, which we told you they're going to try to do. The running backs have 26 yards rushing. The running backs, if you take Hurts' running away, and we mentioned the possibility. There's Jalen Hurts, of course, who's 25-2 as a starter. Tagovailoa, who's the true freshman, who can throw the football well, and this game gets to a point where they're not executing at the line of scrimmage and they need to throw. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets a shot.
Now, you're right. Nick Saban, it would take a lot to pull a guy who's been clutch in his career and has won 25 out of 27 starts, but that's how much they think of the passing skills of Tagovailoa. It is a pretty thing to watch that lefty spin it. So we'll see. Todd get the football first.
Nick Saban and Alabama will not go down without a fight. There is still a lot of football to be played here in this second half. Going to be interesting.
I've talked about the pain of losing a championship game, stumbling in the final seconds of the final hurdle to Clemson. That's what's been driving them. There's no participation trophies sought after in Alabama. We learned that this week, didn't we? That was crushed, smashed in the weight room. Blankenship, perfect on 2 field goals. He's been knocking his kickoffs deep, and he does so again. Jacobs going to try to make a play from 6 yards deep. And fights across the 20. And here it is. Tua Tagovailoa, a true freshman from Hawaii, gets the second half start. He keeps it. He's a nifty runner, not quite as powerful as Hurts, but he's in there because he's throwing it.
He is known as a distributor, a great passer, a guy who has come in and even though he hasn't played a lot of meaningful snaps, the players believe in him. The players, the receivers especially, really believe that he can make the throws to give them a chance to be more balanced than with Jalen Hurts in there.
It's still a remarkable move by head coach, and Tagovailoa from the pocket spins it. It's an accurate throw, short, complete to Hale Henches, the tight end. And now a 3rd down and medium coming up. Reggie Carter tackled the receiver.
So right now, we have 2 true freshman quarterbacks playing in the national championship.
Yep. We had Jalen Hurts a year ago, coming just short.
And he's facing his first 3rd down in this atmosphere.
By the way, there's 3 true freshman wide receivers in the game for Bama as well, as Tagovailoa tries to dodge the rush. Cannot escape. Sacked by Roquan Smith, the Butkus Award winner. QB change, same result though for the Bama offense.
Wow, the middle linebackers, they bring them both right through here. Watch Harris try to pick up Roquan Smith, but there's the quickness. He actually held him. Smith still was able to get in there and get around Damian Harris. Great athletic ability, great skills for a linebacker, and they love to blitz him.
4th 3 and out for Bama. Hardman standing at his 30. One of the bright spots for Alabama so far, the punting of Scott. Dogs block it, but they got a head start. A flag is down. They came flying off the edge out of the starting blocks, but the false start is going to erase this block punt. That's Tyler Simmons, the receiver.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty.
Still going to be 4th down.
Replay 4th down.
It's very obvious. He's a little eager here.
That's a great look at it. He started off on the gunner, came down.
Did he cross?
Wow, that was really, really close.
He was behind the line of scrimmage and definitely got a running start. Take another look to see if he actually got in the neutral zone. What a huge call. Scott is methodical. He's had 3 punts blocked in his career. When he gets them off, he typically booms them. And now Hardman has a crease. Mecole Hardman is knocked down. That was a very tough tackle on the coverage team by Cam Sims, the receiver, to prevent a really big return.
Hey, Chris, I think Bama may have moved with both Holcomb and Sims before the Georgia player. As he's moving there, there's movement. Nonetheless, it's obviously they make the call, but Georgia still gets a good field position on the return.
Absolutely, and there's a 54-yard punt, a 19-yard return. Saban, meanwhile, hoping, Kirk, that someone on this defense can make a play, a takeaway. The spark Bama. 2nd and 13. Fromm flips it in the flat, and in heavy traffic, Swift tries to cut back, and back-to-back losses. So the Tide defense pushing the Dogs back. Isaiah Buggs, the big fella, made that play.
Really, Minkah Fitzpatrick forced the ball back inside. He was dealing with being blocked by Blazevich, a tight end, who's a big physical tight end. does a good job of pulling and pushing him back. The crowd reacting to the face mask, a potential face mask by Buggs near the end of that play. I thought he got him close to the face mask. In fact, he grabs a hold of it. Then he gets the jersey afterwards. Got away with a pull of the face mask for sure.
Big Ten crew missed that one. That's a huge difference at a first down. 3rd and 21. Just the safe play and the handoff to Swift. Crowd is still up in arms.
And 2 big misses in the last few plays by the officials. Bama will get the ball back, but very easily could have been called for a personal foul and a face mask, giving Georgia that first down.
We saw the aggressive approach by the Tide, sensing what we talked about. It's their turn to step up and make something happen. The offense has been mute tonight. Trayvon Diggs is deep. Nislek. It's a low kick away, and Diggs is going to chase it down at the 30. Gets the edge, spins out of a tackle, and Alabama set up at the 43-yard line. Another look at the face mask that Buggs got away with.
He got a hold of him right there, and not only gets a hold of him, he gives it a yank. By the time he lets go, then he gets a hold of the jersey, and that's what made the official miss it.
A huge body, Alex Leatherwood, but no experience over there.
Freshman.
They're all over the place in this field tonight. Tagovailoa, play action, steps up, spins it downfield to Ridley, just over his hands. Still trying for that chunk play. Parrish in coverage, just over Clemson.
But more of a threat with him in there at quarterback.
Tagovailoa steps up, now looks to escape, cuts it back. Flag is down very late in the play, about a 4-yard gain. Back in the offensive line area. Saw that highlight of Ohio State beating Oregon in the first playoff championship game.
There is no foul on the play. The play results in a first down.
That was Mariota coming short against the Buckeyes. At that point, Tagovailoa was at the same high school, St. Louis High School in Honolulu, idolizing the Heisman Trophy winner. Here he is against Jake Fromm on the other side. They were roommates at the Elite 11 camp, where high school kids go to prove themselves and test themselves. Here they are in the championship
go ahead later. By the way, the official said first down. It's actually 3rd down and 7. Into that left tackle, true freshman.
Dogs don't pressure. Tagovailoa has all night hit hard, spinning around, trying to escape and create, and now he's in the clear. The freshman shows some toughness, creating a desperately needed 3rd down conversion.
Georgia plays man under with 2 deep. He has all day. Quarterback's actually much more mobile. Tagovailoa much more mobile, but also strong. Low center of gravity, gets out of there and picks up the first down.
Bama in Georgia territory at the 44. First down throw, a slant, high, caught. Robert Foster, the senior, just his 12th of the season. Young kid feeling it.
Dominique Sanders, the safety, cheating down again. 1st and 10. What's Alabama been doing all night? Running the ball. Safety's down, loading the box. Bama throws right behind him.
Screen, Ruggs, through freshman to true freshman, and he busts down inside the 20. It's near the marker.
Much different position as a play caller now. Much more aggressive with Tagovailoa in there because of the ability to get the ball out quickly.
2nd and 1, throwing again, slant low, and it's Ruggs, the freshman, going down again. 1st and goal, Alabama.
This is what a lot of Alabama fans have talked about, the possibility of Tagovailoa someday maybe getting an opportunity. What it's done, Chris, because of the play calling, boy, it's changed the energy and the attitude from that Georgia defense. Got to execute down here. They need 6.
Throwing again. End zone. Touchdown! Henry Ruggs! We got a freshman quarterback duel in Atlanta, and the Tide are back in it. Where does that come from, Kurt? You're in high school a year ago. You haven't played a meaningful snap all season. You're mopping up all year. You come in down 13, hostile crowd, 7 plays, 56 yards, 5 of 6 on the drive, and the touchdown to Ruggs.
And this sets up a big drive for Georgia. And after that return, they're pinned back deep in their own territory because Alabama's defense is fired up.
Hardman could have left it there. Chose to bring it out, paid the price. Tide were flying down. Play action on first down. As Fromm is trusted to make a throw, backed up, and Godwin makes the catch and moves the sticks.
I mean,
are these guys really true freshmen?
How good is this? How good is this?
After Jacob Eason was injured in the 3rd series of the season. Many feel the Dogs wouldn't be here without Fromm coming in. Now Chubb dropped behind the line. Averett invaded the backfield. Going to be 3rd and 11. Prodigies, guys with a rare mental gift to go with the physical abilities. You're seeing this guy who's getting his first taste of meaningful action, and Fromm's really been doing it all season.
Sure has. But a big key coming into this game. So much talk about the running game. The quarterbacks not only hitting big plays, avoiding the disastrous play. 3rd down right here for Fromm.
Delivers under pressure. Downfield. Caught! Hardman! A foot race! Escapes and scores! There is a flag down. It's outside the field of play on the far sideline at the 50. So hold on. Tide signaling this 80-yard play is going to come back.
Sideline interference penalty. Enforced 15 yards on the kickoff.
That's a sigh of relief from Kirby Smart. That's kind of the one penalty on Georgia that wouldn't have nullified the touchdown. And Fromm chucks it deep. Hardman beats his man, and Georgia answers the Tide's first touchdown.
But Fromm on 3rd and long found a matchup to his advantage with Hardman, who has great speed. He was matched up one-on-one with the nickelback Tony Brown, a much bigger, thicker defensive back.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
So Tom Kissinger will take a look. The first couple of reviews have gone Georgia's way. Plays have stood. You know,
Boy.
again, I think an Alabama defender kept one foot in bounds. Now, did the heel hit out of bounds?
The left heel was very, very close.
Well, what you have here.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as called. It's a touchdown.
Not confirmed, but stands.
I have to agree with that because it's close. He looks like he's out of bounds, but it's not 100%. I have to agree with the replay official.
That all they have to do is stick to their fundamentals. Just because the quarterback changes doesn't mean you change. And they said when he takes off running, look to strip the ball out of his hands.
That's good advice. He hasn't been under fire much in meaningful games, as we've said. Rolls, flips it high, into traffic, intercepted. DeAndre Baker made the young fellow pay for a mistake.
He forced it.
There's a flag down on the far side.
Yeah, he forced the ball here. Should have just thrown this ball away. Remember, young guy hasn't played a lot, trying to make a play. Boy, he threw that into a lot of traffic.
Sideline warning. Assessed against Georgia. That's their first. There's no...
So again, the snap was sort of high, disrupted the timing. Here's the pick.
Look at Baker keeping his eyes on the quarterback in great position on Ridley. Tagovailoa tries to get it in there. Intercepted by Baker. Aaron Davis there as well. Bulldogs catch a break. Let's see if they can capitalize when we come back. It's the Alabama receivers and the tight ends in the background. They're all blocking. Irv Smith, Judy, 82-4. Ridley's blocking. They're running a route. Nick Saban's got to be frustrated with what's happening. The quarterback's rolling to his left, and every one of the wide receivers was blocking. And again, he's not an experienced guy, but in that case, He's got to just throw that ball away instead of throwing it up for grabs and letting the defense make a play on the ball.
Golden spikes shoulder pad, reward for a takeaway. And now the Dogs try to extend this lead. Any points out of this drive, it's a 3-score game. Fromm again trusted to throw on first down. Batted in the air, picked off. The Tide respond. Raekwon Davis. It's another big man interception by Bama. And they're at the 40.
You know, Payne didn't come up with the interception, but he was involved in causing it. This is a crazy play. Payne gets in. The ball bounces off Deshaun Hand and goes up into the air. And how about the athletic ability by Davis at 6'7"? Here's pressure right here. You'll see Hand right here get involved as well. The ball will bounce off of him. So there's Payne getting inside penetration. The ball is thrown, bounces off the helmet of Hand, up into the air, and Davis with those long arms comes up with a big interception.
Tagovailoa still in the game. We've talked all night, Kirk, about risk reward. We've seen the reward of these talented freshmen making big plays. There's the risk.
Back to back. Last 2 plays. Great field position for Bama.
For the Tides, great receiver. 1 catch, targeted 5 times. Can they find him here? Tagovailoa, chase, delivers, incomplete. Flying off the edge to pressure was the linebacker DeAndre Walker. It's 4th down.
He jumped that. There's no chance for Matt Womack because he timed it up right here. Womack wants to come out, but the speed off the outside. See how he timed that? He took a chance, and he got in there to affect Tagovailoa. By the way, if he doesn't get in there, they've got 3 linemen downfield in front of that screen and a lot of room to operate. Georgia fortunate with Walker getting in there.
Panastos, a nervous miss from 42 earlier. This from a yard longer. Not the prettiest, but it's crucial. The Tide able to cash in Davis's interception, but only for 3 to cut the lead to 10. Talked about risk reward. Both quarterbacks have made plays, make mistakes. Now it's going to be very interesting to see with the Tide cashing in the pick. Does he go right back to Fromm to shake it off, young fellow? We're going to still pitch it around.
That's what he's done all night.
Great balance. 28 passes, only 7 runs. Scott boots this one deep again. Hardman chose to bring it out last time. Doesn't make the same mistake twice. Well, both Saban, Kirby Smart were talking about the changing times in college football. Back in the old days, you just didn't see true freshmen playing prominent roles, much less true freshman quarterbacks. Jamel Holloway,
1985, who was a great player, but the game has changed so much, and the quarterback play with the Elite 11, the quarterback coaches.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 48 on Alabama. That's a 15-yard penalty, and that's number 48's first unsportsmanlike foul of the game.
Nicky Brown, the linebacker on special teams.
Yeah, he lost his cool, ended up punching a Georgia player. This went right after him. Right there. Lucky he didn't get thrown out of the game. Went after Walter Grant.
Talk about the importance of yards, field position. 15 on that penalty. Moves Georgia to the 40.
That's how you get taken out of the game and don't get a chance to get back out there. Oh, wow.
They'll self-police over there, won't they?
Yeah.
Jump. Turns for about 5. Fromm throwing just his 6th interception of the season and last possession on the carom. Talked about what's going into this game. Alabama, the pain of having a trophy ripped away from it in the final second by Clemson last year. They've stewed about it all season long and unable to impose themselves on Georgia here. And temper's boiling over. Backup linebacker. Second straight run for Chubb. He tries to bounce it outside, but Rashaan Evans, the senior, playing in his 7th playoff game, makes the tackle.
I'm surprised there with Jake Fromm. Something to keep in mind. I wouldn't be surprised next time they run something like that. As he pulls that, he walks around the edge. Bama not respecting Fromm's ability to run. It collapsed inside on Nick Chubb. And I'm just not saying here, but later in this game, they're going to go back to that. And Jake Fromm's going to keep that ball, and he's going to get around that corner if they don't start respecting his ability to run.
Top receiver Wims out of the game on 3rd and 6. Fromm has plenty of time and delivers a high throw, and the catch is made by Riley Ridley. So his big brother has been frustrated all night. Little brother stepping out of the shadow.
Lions doing a good job of protecting him. Like I said, a lot of those are 3rd and long.
Fromm does pull it and keep it as you suggested, but that time the Tide were ready. Mac Wilson dropped him for a loss.
Well, this is a different call because they brought the tight end around with him, Jackson Harris. And by the tight end coming around, it actually brought the linebacker right here. The tight end moves and watch the linebacker come with him. That's why he's able to get out there. Another reaction from the crowd with a push after the tackle by Mac Wilson. They wanted another dead ball personal foul on Alabama. Just kind of shoved his head after he made the tackle.
Michelle is the back. Ridley's out there on the right on 3rd and 6. Fromm has a clean pocket and delivers. A strike ball comes out. Not held long enough. Levi Wallace just ripped it away from Ridley.
Well, Fromm is making plays on 3rd and 9 a lot of times to Ridley, but let's give Levi Wallace a lot of credit because this ball looks like it's caught yet again, kind of an option route, and eventually Wallace is able to separate him from that football. I don't know if he ever quite, he looks like he might have had fingertip control, but Wallace, good position, is able to knock that ball loose.
Bryce Ramsey, who is the 3rd string quarterback, he can also punt the ball. He's in there. Obviously, he can throw it too, looking to fake it. And now at the last second, with the rush coming, he pooches it up very high, and Diggs makes a fair catch. As it was, though, Bama makes a stand after Georgia had gotten into their territory. Inside of 2 minutes in the quarter. Bo Scarborough hasn't yet got going. Big fella turns the corner and bangs across the 35.
And that was my point last possession. There's no reason to go completely away from this running game. The safeties are backing out, respecting the deep ball. Different kind of coverage. They can still run the football and stay balanced with Tagovailoa because of the way he throws a lot of times on 1st and 10.
Scarborough's waited all night for a run like that 16-yarder.
Empty set, quick, ball's coming out quick.
Dogs rush 5 does come out. Ridley, Calvin finally makes a play. He is slung down by J.R. Reed.
2 inside linebackers, good run blitz there. Reggie Carter, Roquan Smith.
Late pressure. Tagovailoa throws it out there. It's caught, but Roquan Smith knocks down Scarborough. Just like he made that big play against Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl. It's 4th down.
He's in man-to-man. You're going to see a receiver come here. Watch his vision. He gets behind, potentially getting picked. They try to pick him right there. He goes deep to get behind it. Then he comes downhill and keeps Scarborough short of the 1st down.
As it's well clear of the sideline, play continues. Final play of the quarter. Michelle muscles. Alabama outscored Georgia in the 3rd 10-7, but it's still the dogs, the underdogs, up double digits headed to the 4th quarter, trying to end a championship drought of almost 4 decades. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T on ESPN.
But good to see him awake, alert, gave a little bit of a smile there as he heard the crowd shout at him, but he's about to be let out of here, guys. We'll keep you updated, of course.
Tom, Georgia begins the final quarter beating Sony Michel, and he busts out across the 20.
Boy, he is physical runner. Good job getting movement right side of that offensive line. Freshman right guard Ben Cleveland's able to come down, help on the nose, and climb up to the linebacker.
Run between the tackles again, and Michel busts loose across the 40, and the dogs are just driving it right at Bama.
Watch the left side of this offensive line. Isaiah Wynn, left 77, Baker I love how Wynn, who's a former guard, has such a comfortable feel to him and being able to come down and help once it's secured on the defensive lineman, patiently works up to that linebacker. And when you're getting movement on Alabama at the defensive line spot, you're going to get a chance to get some big yards running the football. It's just rare to see.
The drive all Sony so far, but he steps out and Chubb spells him and powers up the middle. This has to be eating Saban and Pruitt alive. At 10-point deficit, they can't stop the middle run game.
And a little bit of a change there by Nick Saban and Jeremy Pruitt. They try to stunt, just trying some movement. That time they moved himself out of the hole and gave Nick Chubb even more room to work. This is what Georgia's done to defenses most of the year, is get him into the fourth quarter and try to start to lean on him even more and wear him down.
Chubb again. You know, Georgia's only played 2 close games that come from behind victory at Notre Dame in game 2, the late game-winning field goal, and that rally against Oklahoma from 17 down. They are devastating in this position, though.
Absolutely. It's where they've been, with the exception of the trip to Jordan-Hare. The third down has been a strength tonight for Georgia, 8 of 15.
Chubb motions back in. 3 receivers to the right. From pressured, sacked. Right up the middle was Raekwon Davis who made the pick. And now that drive killer.
Great coverage downfield. Fromm had nowhere to go with the ball. They matched up well with their matchup zone. Turns into man-to-man principles. Davis is right here. Gets a good push. He's so long, so athletic in the inside. See how he's able to just get off of Ben Cleveland using his hands and quickness.
Nisley timed the punt as the Tide peel back to set up a return. A very low pick. And it's going to be fielded there by Trayvon Diggs, who's tackled immediately. So Raekwon Davis trying to single-handedly on that defensive side bring the Tide back in it. Yeah, the interception led to a field goal, and Sack has given the ball back to the Tide offense. Up, and then Georgia drove down and fell one play, a couple seconds short. To continue with the theme, true freshman Najee Harris is in the game. And he makes a big play, and Harris, it's nothing but freshmen running around out here, Kurt.
It's also a good job by this offensive line, pulling around both their guards, Pierce Baker, Hasenauer. Both young linemen being able to pull around there, especially the right guard there who's in for Lester Cotton. And Najee Harris is a big back, but he has great speed if he can get out in the open field.
Been a frustrating night for Damian Harris, their leader, no relation. And Najee getting a turn. That time they fake it to him. Tagovailoa has lots of time and a big cushion for Cam Sims, who makes the catch. Still fighting, spinning, takes a big shot at the 46 from Trenton Thompson. They move the chains.
Trenton Thompson chasing that play down. Has good speed for a big guy, and he's able to catch up to Sims, who turns back into the play right there. Boom. Puts in a true freshman, hasn't played any meaningful snaps all year, and it's kind of sparked this Alabama offense.
And now Harris is the 4 tailback, bounces it. Najee Harris in the clear, a powerful run, still battling and slung out inside the 10 by Roquan Smith.
What a great block by Jerry Jeudy. Watch number 4 in the crack block. Boom, right there on Aaron Davis. Set, got the edge. And then, as I said, Aaron, you see Najee Harris, how big he is. You think of him as a power back, but pretty nifty, able to keep his feet and his balance, and Alabama's in business. Alabama played a game late against Clemson. What kind of toll would it take on them? Fourth quarter now.
Tagovailoa pump fake for the end zone. Jeudy just over his fingertips. The flip side, though, is Bama hasn't been able to really work on this defense, soften them up. That's only the 51st play tonight.
Yeah, but I'm just looking out there and I'm watching both teams kind of hands on their hips a little bit. This tempo is very, very tough to prepare for both teams, because you really can't simulate that in practice.
From the pocket, Tagovailoa to the end zone. Incomplete. Skying up. Trying to make the catch was Judy. Dominic Sanders. Tremendous effort.
Chris, he has the ball. It's just a matter of does he have possession while his feet are down. Sanders intercepts the ball. Let's see. Take a look at his feet. Whoa! The ball went in the air. He had the ball against his leg, and then it went up in the air after his feet were up.
Check the AT&T pylon cam. Georgia fans are hardly neutral on this call. I think you're spot on, Kirk. Ball bounces up in the air.
He had it against his thigh, and then he jumped into the air after he was in bounds. Watch the ball right there.
Yep.
That's what they're going to take a peek at to see if he lost possession of the ball.
After further review, the defender never attained possession of the ball in bounds. The ruling on the field is confirmed. It's fourth down.
So now Papanastos missed early. 40. They went from 43. This is just a 30-yarder to make it a one-score game. Doug's very good at the field goal block when they got Oklahoma's. Don't come after that one. Papanastos able to curl it through.
They're young, true freshmen.
Georgia's got one in there. DeAndre Swift in the slot to the left. And it's Hardman who's had a big night on the end around. They don't contain him at the edge. That'll drive Pruitt crazy.
How do you beat Alabama with perimeter and try to find some opportunities to get in space and accelerate upfield? That's what they've done tonight.
Dogs need two to prolong the drive and chew on some clock. Hardman again. This was the look that scored the touchdown. This time they give it to Michel up the middle and nothing doing. The Tide rise up and stop him a yard short. Fourth down. Davis and Payne clogged the middle.
Yeah, that was all Daron Payne in the middle, being able to get off of his block. Watch 94 here in a critical moment in this game. You wonder if Hardman's going to fake and go around the corner the way he did last time. Watch Payne in the middle, get off of two blocks and hold his point and push Hardman back into that backfield short of the first down. Big time play by 94.
Dirk in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you're looking at a couple more possessions with 7:10 to go.
Damian Harris comes in motion. Tagovailoa fakes the run and now is going to flip it to Harris in the flat. Makes a man miss. And Damian Harris, after a frustrating night, spins across the 50 into Georgia territory.
You know, of all the backs that they have, he reminds me the most of a Mark Ingram type of back. Good action, threatening them downfield with the action from Tagovailoa. And then it's just getting the ball out to Harris out in space where he can make some people miss.
Tagovailoa takes off, holding him up briefly. There was DeAndre Walker before the D-line could clean him up. This is a real test of this defense. 6 combined in the last 2 championship games. They need 9. They have 2 plays to get it. Tagovailoa, a downfield shot, and here comes a flag. A battle on the edge between Parrish and freshman Devontae Smith.
They go after Parrish. They've been going after him all night. It's another freshman, Smith. They get tangled up.
Defense number 14.
You can see the arms from Parrish extend.
Automatic first down.
And that's what they made the call on. He's frustrated with it. He felt it was a little bit of incidental contact where they're both kind of looking back, but the officials right there on top of it saw his arms come through. And that's what they made the call on. I know you're a big fan of
today's standards. That wasn't a whole lot, I'll be honest with you. First down at the 33.
Remember, when Bama's gone tempo, it's been very productive with Tagovailoa in there.
The lefty fires downfield. Judy goes up. Freshman to freshman again, and the Tide set up inside the 15. 3rd and 3. Ridley to the far right. pass is plastered in the backfield. Trenton Thompson is having a game tonight. 4th down.
Boy, Thompson has that ability to slip through, puts Nick Saban and Brian Dable in an interesting position. Nick Saban's been going for it a lot this year on 4th down. 14 of 17 on the year. 1-4 in their loss at Auburn. It's a big play here for Brian Dable.
You've got Najee Harris, the true freshman, trotting out to stand to the left of the freshman quarterback. They get a first out of the 3.
That's where you save that play for late in the game, play you haven't called.
Tagovailoa, plenty of time, surveying the field, fires end zone, touchdown! Calvin Ridley finally makes an impact. The superstar receiver waited all night for that moment. He'd been targeted, he'd been missed. That time, Tagovailoa coolly spins it to him. And now Papanastos to tie the game at 20. 3:49 to play. Alabama. 20 points after halftime, all with Tagovailoa at quarterback.
So he's going to look to his right to hit Ridley right away, but you're going to see Dominic Sanders get in the way of the route. Right here, look at his eyes. He's trying to go right here, but you have Sanders who takes that away. What's great is Ridley doesn't give up on the play. Keeps working against man-to-man, pulls away from Aaron Davis. A great effort, and how about the moxie and the poise by the young freshman quarterback sitting in that pocket. 4th down, game on the line potentially, and he throws an absolute rope. On the run, defense closing in on him, throws it away from the defense, and Ridley makes the play.
There's no structure to that play. That's just street ball in downtown Atlanta. Nick Saban says, finally, we're back even. And that decision to pull number 2 there, Jalen Hurts, 25-2 as a starter, right now looking like a genius move.
And now the game's tied, and he's got to go out much like he did at the end of the Rose Bowl. In that case, he was trying to tie it in regulation. Here, he's going to try to go down and win it.
And it's not the seniors Chubb and Michelle, but the freshman Swift to his left. Fromm has time in the pocket. It's an inaccurate throw, incomplete.
Well, Payne got in there. He got off of the left guard, Kendall Baker, and that's what Nick Saban calls affecting the quarterback. We don't always have to sack him. Let's affect him. And that's exactly what Payne did there by getting down into the face of Fromm. It forced him to throw that ball a little bit off balance and caused to be an incomplete pass and an errant pass.
Tide rush 4. Fromm delivers near sideline. It's Riley Ridley will be ruled out of bounds before he spun and made the dive. So 3rd down and 4 coming up.
Ridley's been there for him all night, and often it seems like they're on the right side. Amazing, he leads his team in receptions tonight.
He said they hadn't thrown last couple series. They're trusting Fromm in this series.
How about Michelle and Chubb not in to start this series? They've gone with the freshman Swift.
Incredible. It's Nauta, the tight end, motioning in. Time again. High throw, incomplete. Tide rushed 4, and that was delivered over the head of his receiver. 4th down.
It's the first time tonight it just felt like Fromm was a little bit out of sync, maybe just trying to force the throw a little bit. Most of this night we've seen him comfortable, we've seen him confident. In that series, I don't know if that was all him or some of Alabama in good coverage as well. But who's throwing the ball? Let's see what happens here.
Got to hurry again. Whitelock winding down. Harris has the handoff, fights off a high tackle and just barrels out across the 45. Barely got that play off. That was real close.
He is a handful at 227 pounds.
Tied with tempo, testing the mettle of this Dogs defense. Tagovailoa sideline round. It's easy pitch and catch to Ridley. Be careful, Calvin Ridley starting to get involved now.
I'm very surprised. It looks like we have a flag down. We're going after Malcolm Parrish all night. Surprised Georgia's not putting a safety over top of him.
Personal foul, face mask, defense.
Parrish guilty of the 15-yard penalty.
As he was tackling him, took a stiff arm from Ridley and then grabs onto the face mask as he's going down.
Big play by the senior receiver. Third down. Keeper. Tagovailoa lowers the head, shows the power, and gets a first down. He just ran over the senior Sanders.
Yeah, he went right over top of him. Mentioned how strong he is, his lower body for being a young player. People forget that he can run the ball, and he's not only slippery and quick, but he can be powerful.
Pappanastos for the national championship from 36 yards. No! Hooked it! The Dogs have life, and we're headed for overtime. You feel for any kicker comes up short in that situation.
Yeah, you do. That was one. When you miss it that bad, that's pressure. That's pressure getting the best of you. He slipped there with his left foot. His plant foot looked like it slipped a bit.
You deal with kickers, Kirk, that work on natural grass most of the season. The plant foot's a little tricky on these fields with the rubberized pellets. Alabama, a chance to win it. We're going to head to overtime. Find out who's leaving here with a trophy. Pappanastos, Kirk, somehow has to shake off that crushing miss to be called on right here in the overtime to win it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know if it's they get the ball first or if they have to react to what Georgia does.
Captain's back out.
Congratulations to both teams. We still don't have a champion. We're going to keep playing until we get one. Alabama, you're still the visiting team. We're going to have another coin toss. The winner of the coin toss gets to decide either who gets the ball first or which end of the field that we play on. The loser of the coin toss gets the remaining option. Because you're still the visitors, we have the same coin. The football is heads, and the Mercedes-Benz Stadium is tails. What's your call?
Tails.
Tails is called. Here we go. It is a tail. You want to go on defense first?
Yeah, we're going to play defense first.
That's what I thought. Which end do you want to play at?
Dan
Play down
Caperton
there?
seems to be enjoying another moment in the spotlight
Georgia's
here.
ball, first down, going this way.
The Dogs will head left to right. Jake Fromm and their offense up first.
And again, their offense had a very good first half. See the overtime records. Offense not quite in sync the last three possessions when they've had the ball. Instantly, Jeremy Pruitt making the call out to Rashaan Evans and Mack Wilson to make the check with him.
Chubb behind the fullback Payne. He's got it. Cannot get the corner. Levi Wallace stopped him. It's going to be third down.
Boy, Minkah Fitzpatrick anticipating, again, that pin and pull scheme where the outside receiver and the tight end try to come down and crack block, and then they pull that right tackle outside. By anticipating that, he was able to get upfield and force Chubb back underneath and inside where the rest of that Bama defense was. Remember, Wims is not in the lineup. His favorite target, he's been going more to Riley Ridley, number 8.
Now it's Michel in the game, 3rd and 6. Pressured, flushed, sacked, way back at the 35-yard line. It will be a very long field goal attempt coming up.
A great move here by Lewis, moving around. Payne goes here, and he comes free. You can see that the center, Gilliard, 53, just not agile enough to move with Lewis, and he comes in clean and comes up with a big sack.
Papanastos from 51 kicked a 55-yarder in the Rose Bowl. And there's Blankenship trying to give Georgia the lead. Hot Rod just slides it through. I'd say he's earned that scholarship.
This guy, we talk about Jake Fromm having guts. Great snap, great hold. Comes up with a big kick at the end of the first half in the Rose Bowl against Oklahoma. Goes out here in the first overtime after that sack and delivers for Georgia.
Many felt that was a huge field goal at the end of the half to steal 3 points. Not nearly as monstrous as that one. They've been jumping around way out on the field, gesturing to his offense. Tagovailoa dancing around, circling back, dropped! A disastrous first down play. Davin Bellamy got it back at the 42.
Chris, that's a combination of great coverage downfield by Georgia and just being a young quarterback not put in this situation. Bellamy almost gets him there. See, that's where you'd like to see him throw it away. Nobody's open. You got to give up on the play, throw it away, get outside of the pocket and play on 2nd and 10. That's his youth right there.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins! The Crimson Tide will not be denied. True freshman to true freshman. Tagovailoa to Devontae Smith. Alabama breaks Georgia hearts. Nick Saban back on the summit where he has caught the bear with his 6th national championship. Bama has won 5 in 9 years.
And how fitting, Chris. And a night when we've talked so much about freshmen, it's true freshman to true freshman to win the game for Alabama.
A 41-yarder after the sack, delivering the victory in overtime to Alabama.